Look out, it's 3:03. And it's only me. It's only the Kimmer with Pete and Flounder. 1063. It's Monday and it's 9/11. And we're still a little ticked off about it. And we're now putting up with it, these freaking liberals. I'm the only freaking flag in my neighborhood. It's unbelievable. Play a little music, Flounder. It's unbelievable. Flag, a whole flag.
And enunciate there.
Man to the bone.
Revelation.
Oh, mercy. Anyway, how's it going? Let's call it 3:04 with the Kimmer and Pete Davis, sidekick producer and sports raconteur extraordinaire, and the mechanical mangler at the controls, Flounder. And it's 9/11, and of course that's going to be every hour. We will say many things during the course of the hour about 9/11, remembrance and what's going on and stuff like that. I have three short stories about people whose names I would like to remember, among others, 9/11. Mm-hmm. I've done it before many years ago, and so we'll do that very briefly, one an hour. Also, we'll talk. We'd love to hear from you. We are monitoring YouTube and Rumble, stuff like that. Although I don't know how to get Rumble. I can't figure out how to comment on Rumble. Anyway, but YouTube, we're monitoring, and here's our phone number. We'd love to take phone calls. 404-741-1230. 741-1230. And so we got that going for us. Also, President Stupid Face is in Alaska on 9/11 because he apparently he misunderstood it. He wanted to go see, because he kept seeing that video on his wildlife programs he watches in the early evening. He wanted to go see where the brown bears eat all those salmon in the rivers. So he didn't make it. So Carmela, Vice President's side piece, Miss Shiftless and Lazy, is going to be doing it for us. Also, did you hear? Yeah, Biden went to Vietnam, all right. Did you see any? I don't know whether they covered. I don't know whether the mainstream media covered any of his lapses at the podium. Holy crap! I mean, and his staff telling that good night, everybody. I mean, it's like the hook. I was like, you're yanking him off by the collar. I got time to go. Got to get the old plane.
Well, he was just about to basically surrender to the Viet Cong. So.
Yeah, by mistake. He could salute Ho Chi Minh for a job well done.
Have you ever seen a handler interrupt a president during the middle of a conference?
No, Reagan would have had their lunch.
Oh, I mean, anyway. Well, hell, remember Trump when they tried to when Jim Acosta tried to manhandle one of Trump's people? He said, whoa, and they kicked him the hell out. I mean, anyway.
That's when he was actually kicked out of the press secretary for 2 years.
Exactly. Also, there was an insurrection at the Speaker of the House at the Capitol. The Speaker of the House is at the Capitol, right? Did they move it? The Speaker of the House is still in Washington, D.C. at the Capitol building. No, the office of the Speaker is still in Washington at the Capitol building. Is that correct? Because if they moved it, to like, I don't know, Poughkeepsie, New York or something, that wouldn't be the same thing. So why would they do that? Anyway, so what's the matter?
When you said move it to, I'm thinking Poughkeepsie.
Wait a minute.
How weird was that?
When you said the time.
When you're thinking, I'm thinking, move it to Poughkeepsie, and you just said Poughkeepsie. That's weird.
Oh, my God. You know where that came from?
The gay couple.
Yeah, just because you're the only one with a freaking girlfriend.
Well, wait a minute.
How about kiss my ass? How about that?
We haven't heard about this update.
Well, no, he's not.
Okay.
He wouldn't tell us anything. He won't say anything ever. In fact, I'm going to talk about that in a minute. You know where we got that?
No.
Gene Hackman. Does it hit you yet?
No. To me, it's a fallback city.
No.
City.
It's because Gene Hackman in the one about the French Connection. I called the French
Connection. Yeah, the movie about the French Connection. There's a French Connection.
There was a connection with some French people. And he dragged. I
never saw the movie. So.
Oh my God! I can't believe.
I tried to watch it. It's so dated. It's so 70s. It's hard to watch.
Well, at one point, now, Flounder, have you ever seen French Connection?
The name sounds familiar.
Oh my God!
It was a great movie, but it's
so old.
I never got it. I was too young when it came out.
And now I'm embarrassed because I'm blind. It's 3:08. Does she look good with her hair pulled back? Anyway, 3:08. And the story, Gene Hackman has one of his undercover cops working with him in a bar, and so Gene Hackman says, "Oh, you're going to talk to me," pretending like he's a stool pigeon or something. So he takes him in. So he's taking these guys into the bathroom to beat him up and hit him in the face to get him to talk to the French Connection. And one of the guys he grabs, he says, "Yeah, you ever pick your feet in Poughkeepsie? You pick your feet in Poughkeepsie?"
What does that mean?
And it's a nothing. He just said it, and it was a thing in the French Connection. It was a very famous line. I thought perhaps.
No, that had nothing to do with it. We had a Uri Geller moment where we were.
Oh my God, bending forks and spoons.
Synchronicity, right?
Anyway, listen. I feel we have a whole new format, and I've blown it already. We came in this mic,
which is why we changed the format. Just what's happening.
No, this way. Well, we might as well talk about it. And we got a 9/11 stuff. I'm going to play Donald Trump's statement here shortly. Remembering, I got the flag. We'll talk about stuff, and the story. We got all this stuff. I promise you. Don't give up on me yet. I'm just talking too much here. But I come in, and Pete says, Flounder and I were talking. We did. When you weren't here. Flounder and I were talking, before you came in, about you. And we're wondering if maybe you could stop talking that much when you come on the air. Wait a minute. So anyway, now we're experimenting with it with a whole new system, which is going to be pretty interesting.
Well, the thing is, you come on and you immediately start the show, not with the top story of the day, but some history and music note from 40 years ago. And then, oh my God, then a memory pops up, and then like 20 minutes gone by, and we're talking about Dion and the Belmonts.
Sometimes you get distracted, but I'm sorry. It's like I tell them, if I had my way, I'd still be doing the trading post. Hey, anybody got a lawnmower? I need a leaf blower.
Overnight trucker trading post.
Absolutely, doing over. Anyway,
so we changed the thing. We changed the song. We did so he'll hit the news hard. And what does he do?
Well, I'm sorry, but it's a learning process. So that's all done. It's starting tomorrow. Everything will be perfect tomorrow. I do have we got a lot of personal stuff, including one about Flounder and stuff. But first, this really does frost me about the 9/11. At least they're remembering it in the Al Jazeera constipation. However, the big headline is, the nation remembers events held at all three sites of our terror attacks. The terrorist attacks killed 2,977. The Islamic terrorists, they left that part out. I think they wanted to be a Donald Trump attack. Was it MAGA attacks, white supremacy attacks? And by the way, that's obviously been forgotten. It was planned by Saudi Arabia. Yeah. Did we forget that too? The Saudi Arabian royal family, have they ever been punished? There's like 10,000 of them. But still, there was a whole segment. They were training them in America. Remember, I don't have to learn how to land it. I learned how to fly it. I remember they went into lessons in Florida. And the guy said, well, I really don't care if I learn how to take off. I needed to learn where do you have to hold it to keep it in the air for a while? I don't really care about landing. I just, okay, nothing is suspicious here. This guy's in for freaking head to thing. Oh, God.
But anyway, no one thought that anyone had the balls to do that.
I know. Again, it's all. But again, I'm so. Do you remember where you were?
Exactly where I was.
Man,
I was living with my girlfriend. I got off work, and I just got home, and I was on the computer, and I had the TV on, but the sound off. And I turn around, and I was on the computer, and I see smoke coming out of the World Trade Center. So, that's a bad fire that high up. Yeah. That's not good. And I'm sitting there watching it, and my dog walks in the back door. I look at my dog, and I look back up again, and I see the other plane coming. And I said to myself, that plane's awful close. They must be by the government there to look and see it, or to look at it or something. I go, that's awful bang. And it hit. I go, oh, boy.
So you actually saw the video.
I saw it live, because ABC's Peter Jennings, and it was live, and I saw the segment. I go, that's too close. And then he hit. I go, that's why he's too close. This isn't an accident.
Flounder? Do you remember where you were?
Yeah, I was living at home, and my mom had woken me up. She was going out for the morning to do errands and stuff. And I was watching the television and was just watching the TV all morning long and the reports, and all it was just showing live everything happening in there in real time. So it was crazy.
I was at Piedmont Hospital being diagnosed with cancer.
On 9/11?
On 9/11.
Bad day. Bad day at Black Rock right there. Now that I remembered, I did for just 1 second think, oh, my God, they flew too close trying to look at it. And then I thought, no, they did that on purpose.
It was, and I remember, I had no idea that if there was a fire up on near the top floor of a building, that eventually the whole building would collapse. I thought they could just put it out, and that would be why would the rest of them collapse? I didn't know that the weight, but I had no idea that the weight of a floor would collapse an entire skyscraper?
Isn't that like amazing? A conspiracy theorist now about the melting point of metal and all that stuff.
And that was set up in advance to try, because they planned it to be one day. I mean, but
This morning on Twitter, I probably saw more conspiracy theory posts than I did acknowledgments on 9/11.
Yeah. 314, we got a whole bunch of stuff here. Again, if you want to call, we'd love to talk to you. 404-741-1230, 741-1230. We got a billion things about this and stuff and people and the insurrection at the Speaker's office. How come they're not being arrested and beaten up? Of course, they did kill 9 police officers this morning by the left. Also, a billion things coming up next with the Pete and Flounder. I promise. It's only the Giver 316. Coming up, we'll be talking about the girl governor of New Mexico. Yeah, apparently somebody should get her some weapons, find out how they... Remembering all day. I know you will be too. And again, we don't want to, get too maudlin about it. But damn it all, I mean, I can't believe it. I'm the only I'm the only guy flying an American flag in my entire neighborhood. Now, if you go places on some of the parkways in some of the suburban towns up north, Alpharetta and Roswell stuff, they have them. They're all over the place.
Where I live, it's all over.
Well, you're in the mountains of Macon or somewhere near there. But again, in my neighborhood, I mean, I can't believe it. Yeah. And these are people of all persuasions. Immigrants. You'd think they'd say, "God bless America," particularly on today. I'm the only flag. Even last year, there were two of us. Now there's only one. I can't believe it.
Why are we playing this song?
By the way, this is Stones.
9/11.
Well, here we go. Well, okay. Well, now, first of all, Flounder does our music, and he has a whole list of famous music things on any particular day in history.
Why are we picking this one?
Well, it just says Rolling Stones.
Name the album, because this song is on the album that they reference in today.
Goat's Head Soup was number one on the British chart. The 11th British and 13th American album by Stones, first released August 31st, 1973, have been remixed by Giles Martin for 2020.
I mean, now you're into the ephemera that no one knows about.
Well, I'm just reading it.
They had a sleeve, a photo you pulled out. It was a goat head and soup. They literally had that inside the album. But I mentioned that because it bashes the New York City police on 9/11.
Oh,
so
does it?
thinking,
wow.
Yeah.
Well,
the police in New York City.
Well, we didn't know that. We just played the Stones. Okay. Well, I'm sorry. It was just music. Oh my God! Can we start over? Holy crap!
All right, we got Jason.
Let's take a call.
Wait, no. Jason says, I was in college, Wisconsin, and a classmate, Ali from Turkmenistan, looked at the TV of the student union and turned and said, "If anyone asks, I'm from Nebraska."
And we do have phone calls at
Wes.
404-741-1230. Wes, thank you for calling. I appreciate it, and welcome aboard. What's up?
Hey, it's good to talk to you, Kimmer.
Good, thank you. Yes, sir.
I just wanted to say that I remember 9/11 very well. I was in high school. I was in my freshman year, and I was sitting in language arts class when the first plane hit.
Wow.
There was a humbling moment for me, even as a young student. So
yeah. And what was reaction with others or teachers or when that was going on?
Okay, so we didn't know it when it first happened, but when I was walking to math class, we actually had a field of trailers that were classrooms at the time. And I looked in one trailer and saw President Bush talking, and that was when we learned of it.
Yeah.
So.
Wow. Hey, thanks, man. I really appreciate it. It's a powerful day. And I don't think, we'll ask, what do you think? You think America's doing enough, or should we, or whatever? Should this be played over and over? Do you want to see the video of the smoke and the buildings tumbling and the people running through the canyons of New York?
If you remember last year, I think it was AOC and the squad wanted all this stuff removed from the internet.
Right, yeah. And so, I mean, I wonder, it's been 22 years. Half the people listening probably have no idea what it was anyway.
They're making a mockery of it by saying that January 6th is worse.
Well, we're going to talk about that in a minute, too. John is on the phone. John, thanks for calling. You're on radio. Welcome aboard, sir.
Hey, Kimmer. How are you this afternoon?
We're doing great, man. Thank you. What's up?
Well, I thought maybe I'd give you a little perspective, maybe from the inside. My first cousin, same last name as mine, was director of White House security in the Situation Room and was with President Bush on 9/11.
Holy cow! Wow, that. Yeah, tell us. So, have you talked to him about him? And tell us that.
Well, it's a her.
Sorry.
That's okay. Her name was at that time was Captain Deborah Lower. And her boss was Condoleezza Rice, and either she was with Vice President Cheney and Condoleezza with the president, or vice versa. And it just so happened that on that day she was traveling with the president. The famous picture that you see of Chief of Staff Andrew Card leaning in and whispering in the president's ear.
Yeah.
He was repeating to the president what my cousin had just told Andrew Card. We need to go now. This is not an accident. This is terrorism. We're under attack.
Holy
And
cow.
that was actually what was said. So we had no idea where she was until about I received a phone call from my aunt who lives up in Springfield, Ohio. She called, my aunt called me to let me know that Deb was okay. She had actually just gotten a call from Deb that everything that she was fine, the president was fine. They actually, when they left Sarasota, they went to Barksdale Air Force Base down in Louisiana. The president actually talked to Vice President Cheney a little bit at that time, and then they were heading for NORAD and actually diverted to Offutt Air Force Base out in Nebraska and sat down there before they decided to head back.
Wow. Well, are you still there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I thought we lost you. That's an incredible story. Now, have you got? Do you see her? Is this your cousin you mentioned? Is this? A family get-togethers must be amazing.
Oh, she still lives. She lives in. She retired as a 2-star admiral.
Wow.
She actually was the first woman in the history of the U.S. Navy to receive command of a surface ship. And she retired several years ago and lives actually in Crystal City, Virginia. But yeah, I mean, to talk to her and to hear, I'm former Navy. I appreciate your service, and every Navy ship needs a good group of Marines to guard our ice cream.
very, very funny. Yeah. How about get back to scraping those barnacles off the side of the ship too? How about that? Hey, man, what a great story. Yeah. And if you talk to your cousin, tell her his old jarhead says Semper Fi and God bless America. What a great story.
Did she ever learn to parallel park that ship?
No, but I'll tell you what, the reverse just doesn't work on it quite quick.
No, those things take about 4 miles to stop, So, wow. Thank you so much. Semper Fi, really. I really appreciate you chatting with us, and my best to the family, and God bless America, man. Thank you. Have a great day.
Appreciate it, Cameron.
That's right. Hoorah, Semper Fi, 327. We got another one, a couple more.
Megan.
Megan's on the line. Hello, Megan. Thank you for calling, and welcome aboard. What's up?
Hey, everyone.
Hi,
Kimmer,
sweetie.
so good to talk to you.
My pleasure.
I was chuckle when you were talking about the Kippy, because that's where I'm from. So I got to chuckle about
You're
that.
from Poughkeepsie, New York?
I'm from Poughkeepsie. Isn't that something?
That's unbelievable. Now, did you ever see the movie French Connection?
Oh, my God.
I didn't. I guess I missed that one. But I did get the Geller connection.
Thank you. Well, now what's the? But now
Yuri Geller.
Yuri Geller. The connection is.
Yeah, the connection is on the show Friends, the TV show Friends. Ross dated a guy from Poughkeepsie. It wasn't me, but every once in a while I hear Poughkeepsie come up, and I think I never thought of it as that popular of a town. But it is a strange sounding town, and it does come up every once in a while.
I'll be darned.
Today was no different.
Well, that's a funny. Well, thank you for calling.
Word.
I really appreciate it.
Well, she hasn't told her story.
Oh, you have a special story for us, do you?
Well, I do. I'm a former flight attendant, so I remember 9/11 well. I was getting ready. I was getting ready to go fly, actually, getting ready for trips, and I was listening to the radio, and I heard about a plane that had crashed into the World Trade Center, and at the time there was speculation that it might have been a little biplane.
Yeah.
And so I turned on the TV, and I was watching as the second plane hit, and I could easily tell, watching the second plane, that it was a jet plane. I knew it was a passenger plane.
Wow.
And so I started calling my flight attendant friends right away to make sure I could touch base with everyone. And it was life-changing in our world. As a flight attendant, we used to have procedures for handling hijack situations, and those procedures changed tremendously after 9/11.
Yeah. Now, when you saw that plane and you knew it was an airliner, which is what you do, I mean, that must have been an extra real slap. Do you think it was a mistake, or did you think hijack immediately, or what's that?
No, I knew right away. I knew because the other tower was already on fire, and they had already indicated a plane that had hit the first tower. When I saw the second plane hit, I knew immediately it was a terrorist issue.
Wow.
Just by the size of the airplane, and I knew our pilots were better than that. That they're not going to accidentally fly into a building like that.
And I assume you must have been worried that maybe some of the attendants on the plane were people you knew.
Right, I wasn't sure, so I immediately just started touching base. And that I was in shock, too. I felt like I needed to reach out to people in the industry with me so that, because I was just in shock that it even happened. And now, I'll tell you, it's kind of come full circle for me. I'm no longer with the airline. I now work for the fire department. And in the building where I work, we actually have a piece of one of the 9/11 towers in commemoration for all the firefighters that lost their lives that day.
Oh, my goodness. What a story.
Yeah.
Bless you, sweet girl.
I
thank you so much for calling. I really appreciate it.
Well, sure, thank you. And thank you for helping us to never forget, because we never should forget.
No, ma'am. Thanks. Have a powerful day.
Actually woke my parents up. They were sleeping.
Your parents were,
They were sleeping. Had no idea.
3:31 with the Kimmer, Pete, and Flounder, 9/11. And we'll be back. Me, it's only the Kimmer with Pete Davison, the Mechanical Mangler Flounder, and Tommy Chong. On this day in 2003, half of the comedy team of Cheech and Chong.
Be careful with these lyrics.
Yeah, maybe I should talk over it. Half of the team of Cheech and Chong, Tommy Chong, was sentenced to 9 months in federal prison and fined $20,000 for selling drug paraphernalia over the internet. He was 65 at the time. Tommy Chong pled guilty to the charges last May in 2003. He was free until April 04 when he went to jail. So then it was Tommy who was next to me when I was playing Pebble Beach with Danny McLefty and Greg Borney, my buddies, a dream trip. Mm-hmm. Where I shot 77 from the tips at Pebble Beach, and Roger Staubach was having lunch at the tips. Sorry, I have to. But you know how many times you have lunch at Pebble Beach and sit next to is Roger Staubach?
About as many times as you mention it.
Well, it's 4 times. There you go. Every 9 years I mention it, and then you kill me every freaking time. I'm not even going to do birthdays because I'm really touched by those last couple of calls we had on the show, and if you have a story, we'd love to hear it about 9/11.
Stan does.
Here's the number, 404-741-1230. 404-741-1230. And we'll get you on as soon as we can. And we're just, this is our day. It's 9/11. Yeah, Stan, welcome. I appreciate your call. You're on the radio, sir. What's up?
Hey, Kimmer. Hope you guys are doing well.
Yes, sir.
9/11, I was actually in downtown Atlanta making sales calls and pulled into my customer. Heard on the radio about the first plane hitting, so I went in. I figured it was a small Cessna or something.
Yeah.
Went in, made my call with the engineer there, and of course it was kind of cut short. As I was leaving the building in the conference room, some people had pulled the television in, and I can't remember if the second plane had already hit then or you could see everything on TV.
Yeah.
And I stood there and watching it, and not a minute later, security came through saying, get out, we're evacuating downtown Atlanta, or at least that building, because they were still, the other 2 planes were still up, and they weren't sure
right.
that they were going to target other high-rises around the country.
Yeah.
So, they rushed us out of there. I got in my car, I drove a ways out of town and stopped at Jocks and Jill's or something like that. Walked in, they had the TVs on in there, and that's when I saw the first building come down.
Wow.
And that just laid me out right there. I couldn't believe that. So
I think
it was
that
interesting being at that.
Oh, yeah, I can imagine. You must have been. I got the old heart going when he says evacuate. You're afraid you're next. Holy moly! Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And I was in downtown Atlanta where all the high rises were.
Yeah.
So it was
a powerful moment. Yeah, Stan, thank you. I appreciate it. I'll never forget when I saw the video, and I remember saying, "Oh my God, the whole building's full." I mean, it's like I thought it was worse than the movies. They couldn't have done that. They couldn't have made a movie do that.
Right.
And I literally, I don't know anything about architecture, but I couldn't believe that the weight. But even so, how could the weight of one floor collapse all that steel?
Straight down.
Yeah, and it wasn't like it peeled over on the side. It was just like shook.
I always thought it would go over, but no, it
it collapsed into itself. Yeah, you couldn't have. It's like when they deliberately blow up a building and get rid of it to build a new one. You have to be very careful, and then it almost never works perfectly. Right. Those were almost perfect. It was I couldn't believe it.
Good. About a few years earlier, my dad and I were up there, and we were walking through the first floor. You go under, it was like a big lobby, one of the towers,
right?
And I had my camera. I forgot. I was carrying it in my hand or something, and this guy comes up, a New York guy comes up, and with a business suit, he goes, "You're holding that wrong. Hold on." And I'm standing there, and he says, "Wrap it around your shoulder like this, or someone's going to steal it. He says, someone's going to take that from you." And I said, "Well, thanks." And he says, "Yeah,
really?
Never just hold it in your hand. Always have it wrapped around your shoulder." And he walked off, and I've said that night after we done it. So I wonder if that guy worked there. I wonder if he was still there. I wonder if he got out. You think about these little things. Oh, man, that's very. You don't see that much in New York City, where someone comes up and does something nice for you.
Wow.
But I wonder if he's still alive.
Yeah. There's more calls?
Yeah, but we're going to ignore him. No, do we have time? Yeah, of course.
Chloe's on the line. Hi, Chloe. It's nice to have you with us. Thank you for calling. You're on the radio. Welcome.
Well, hi. It's been a long time since I've talked to you guys. My son Rocco and I came by after your last game ended.
Oh, there you go. Absolutely. Hey, sweet doll. How you doing?
Hey, I'm very good. But I thought I've never called in, so I'm just going to call in and tell you about my 9/11 because it's what made me a better American and find you eventually. So I was watching the Today Show because I was a Matt Lauer fan. That was stupid. And I watched the plane hit, the second one hit because they were live on it. And my husband, Tom, was on a flight that morning. And you don't know what's going on. So I think I probably went into shock because they let his flight keep flying where it went.
You say, wait a minute, your husband was on an airplane? Was on an airliner?
He was on an airplane, yes, that morning. He had just taken off for New Orleans. So I had a lot on my mind that morning. And I turned off the TV after a while because I still didn't know what was going on with him. And I found meal boards. And I'm like, this is so much better than watching TV. And then shortly after that, a few years later, I found you guys. And I fallen in love with talk radio and being a better American. So, something came out of that. But, yeah, I remember all that like it was yesterday.
I'll bet you must have freaked, anybody who had, a loved one in the air on a plane at that point, especially from a major city, had to be wondering, holy cow, what a just horrible time.
Well, I think his situation really turned interesting because they did land in New Orleans, and when they got off the plane, they didn't know what was going on. They walked out into a completely empty airport.
Wow, that must have been freaky. Yeah. Oh, that's right, evacuate. Oh, my God, that's right.
Yes, and no one had been talking. No one had used their phones. No one knew what was going on because, phones weren't smart back then.
Right.
And he said they did look on the monitors and saw the towers falling down, or right before they fell down. I think that's when it happened. Wow. So his experience was different as well. It's just amazing. But I found you guys.
Well, thanks, sweetie. I appreciate it.
Here you can.
Well, you're very sweet. have a great time. It's a tough day, but have a happy day.
Take care, Pete.
Thank you, Chloe.
All right, Chloe. Thanks, sweetie. All right, thanks. 342. Is there another one there? I can't see the
Scooter.
Scooter's on the horse. Scooter, what's going on, man? You're on the radio.
Yes, Kimmer, long-time listener, long-time frequent caller.
Thanks, sir.
So 9/11, I was actually working for CNN at the time, working from home on doing feedback, doing public relation kind of stuff for them. But I actually had to work in building that day, and I walked in. I didn't know anything had happened. I walked in just as the second plane was hitting the tower. My boss was out, runs and gets me. He says, "Come on, go back. We gotta get back quick." And set me up at a desk with several monitors of just nothing but raw footage constantly showing, and I worked there for 3 hours. It was the most depressing 3 hours. There was stuff on those monitors that they would never show on air.
You must have seen people jumping out of the windows and falling.
I saw the jumping out. I saw the results from jumping out. I saw stuff burning. I would not show it on TV. Then after about 3 hours, at noon, it surprised everybody. The boys came on the intercom. Nobody in the building had an intercom. And he told all non-essential employees, get out now.
Wow.
So I was living in Castleberry at the time, and I walked home from CNN, and it was quiet. Everything was grounded. There was no flights, no driving.
Wow.
I went and got drunk and think on me, so.
Man, I don't blame you. That must have been horrible. It must have been, how'd you keep your wits? You must have been screaming inside about, oh my God, how could you, these are people. This is happening.
I still can't. I want to remember the victims, but I really don't want to remember what I saw.
Yeah.
I really don't, and I will never be able to forget it.
Yeah.
Well, should I?
No. Well, yeah. Again,
I think they should have shown more of the video and more of the photos to just drive home how horrific this was. Most people, they can forget it because they don't know what happened, really.
Yeah, and especially the longer we go away from, 22 years is a long time. Half the population, was young or a lot younger.
And that was around the time when I stopped kind of believing CNN altogether because they showed more and talk more about Bush and his frozen face.
Yeah, there you go.
Than they did about.
Good point. Thanks, my friend. Bless you, and I hope you have happier memories as of this moment on 345 with Kevin Pete and Flounder. More calls coming up, too, here on 106.3.